Thank you everyone for coming today. My name is Leslie and my senior project was based off of bullying. So we all know someone that's been bullied once in their lives, but what is it about them that makes them become targets? So that's what we're going to be going into right now. So first off, let's start off with the definition. What is bullying? What's hard about it is that there is no set definition. It's ever changing, and therefore it's very hard to really see what it is. However, the one argument I'm going with is that the bully uses their power aggressively as a means of self-defense to impose their will over and take advantage of someone else by means of controlling their environment. So let's just stick with that mindset and go on. So previous research, based off of previous research, we have seen that there are certain characteristics that people bullying possess. And these previous researchers have studied children. And so what the previous research that they found is that there's certain characteristics, submissiveness and low social skills. And so, onto it. So with these researchers, Schwartz, Dodge, and Coy, they have discovered that submissive behavior happens more often with children that are bullied than any other child. And that submissive behavior is when they're not assertive in any kind of play like rough and tumble where they're supposed to be rough. And why is this all important anyways? Well, it's important because a lot of people, even adults, suffer from teasing, and it can even bring in a negative workplace environment. And also there has not been any study done on males of different cultures in this age group in their adult years. So my first hypothesis. My first hypothesis is that submissive behavior is a personality characteristic of targeted victims. The second is that low extroversion, high neuroticism will make you a victim. So my variables will be the independent variables, the personality characteristics, and the dependent variables are the scores that they got on the 2 bullying surveys, which we will go into detail more later. The method. I used 44 male participants, each from the different cultures. They were gathered through online recruitment, snowball sampling, convenience sampling, and all of that. They were required to take the online survey. It was anonymous, and I had to take the personality test first so that it was not influenced by the bullying surveys, which they took right after. And so the surveys. What are these surveys? So the first survey, the Gatehouse Bullying Scale, measures teasing, rumors, exclusion, physical threats, and violence. The multidimensional peer victimization scale measures physical, verbal victimization, social manipulation, and attacks on property. And the Big 5, of course, measures personality, as we all, extroversion, agreeableness, and all those. So here are some sample questions. The first one, a Gatehouse Bullying Scale. It measures, once again, teasing, rumors, all of those. It's measured on a 0 to 3, 0 from not bullied to 3 frequently bullied and upset. And the multidimensional peer victimization scale is measured from not at all to more than once. So it's just asked, oh, how often does this happen to you? And then the Big 5. It's measured on a Likert scale of 1 to 5, from 1 to disagree to 5 to agree. So it's just wondering what kind of personality that you may have. My results. So based off of these results, we could see that, since it's two-tailed as well, that it's not significant. It doesn't matter, based off of the hypothesis of having high agreeableness, you are going to be submissive and that you will be a victim of bullying. It doesn't matter if you scored high or low. These are both the 2 surveys, by the way. It doesn't matter if you scored high or low, you could still get bullied. And with neuroticism, it was measured low on neuroticism. You can see again that there's no relationship between the personality trait from neuroticism and the survey scores. So even when someone scores very low, as well, such as right here, someone scores very low, they still got bullied. I mean, very high, they still got bullied, and someone that was very low did not. And as well right over here. With extroversion, it was low on extroversion. And so we can see people here, even if they're very outgoing and have higher extroversion, there's still some people getting bullied. Whereas people on low extroversion, there are some people, however, one still gets bullied. So what does this all mean? Well, firsthand, it can mean the fact that based off the past studies, it's known that if you're bullied in middle school, high school, you're probably going to be still bullied as an adult. And the first hypothesis with submissiveness was that people that are high in submission, at least with children, are more likely to become targeted victims. But with my data does not support this hypothesis, at least, so we can indicate that maybe agreeableness as adults does not factor into becoming victims. And then for the next hypothesis, low extroversion, high neuroticism. So it's shown that with children, once again, it is a characteristic of becoming bullied. But with adults, we can see that from my data, that it doesn't matter if you're low on extroversion or high, and high on neuroticism or low, people still got bullied. So based off past data, these are personality characteristics that people have. But with my data, we can indicate that maybe these don't occur with adults. And there are other explanations to what I got with my data. We can conclude that these characteristics may be only in children, once again. Maybe it wasn't with adults. It doesn't matter what kind of personality you have, you can still become bullied. But there is also other things that may have influenced the outcomes of the survey questions. And that is mainly with the word bullied. The word bullied, since it's always changing and there's no set definition, some people may not know what it means. And also, the term bullying holds a really negative relationship between people, and some people may not be able to relate to it since maybe it only happens to kids, not adults, can be the attitude about it. And so, next is the fact that even if the questionnaire is anonymous, people may not truthfully answer what's going on. And that's because even when people are being bullied as a society, some people just expect you to pull it together and get over it or ignore it. And so this denial of that you're being bullied, you just get over it. And even when given those questions, they may not answer truthfully as they feel because they believe that they just need to toughen up. And so this could have been influencing my survey questions as well. So in the future, I would probably change the word bullying to harassment, since more adults can relate to being harassed than with being bullied. And so I thank you all for coming, and that is it.